to the Calvary Invitational. Thank you all for coming today. Today, Jordan Crump will be presenting the con.
I'm Jordan, and this is my partner Brittany. We are representing the con, and I'll start with speech. Our environment is failing, which means our world is failing. If our world fails, we are worthless. We need to realize the danger we are in. According to the United Nations News Center, 60% of our Earth is being degraded by our and will increase until all of our natural resources are gone. The reduction of poverty throughout our world is spreading greatly and will continue to in the future. It is time that our leaders, as well as the United Nations, focus their attention to the rapid growth of neglect of the environment. The UN has made a commitment to all people, and in protecting our precious surrounding environment, we will save all people, not just the poor.
Okay, so you have stated that the environment is failing. So what about the people impoverished? Why should their environment be prioritized over the people who are dying every day?
There are hundreds of reasons why the environment should be prioritized over the people. First of all, the people living in poverty have to rely more on the environment for their day-to-day
Yeah, but the people living in poverty are causing the environmental problems because they're excreting their waste. No, they're excreting their waste into lakes, which is causing bacterial buildup in the lakes, which is causing environmental problems. So the people are causing the environmental problems.
May I answer one of 10 questions? First of all, bacteria is natural and breaks down things in the ocean. It's all part of the food chain. It doesn't hurt anything. Actually, those who are wealthy are the ones causing pollution due to the CO2 emissions from driving around these big jets, these big Cadillacs, having 10 houses in who knows where lands, and they don't even need them when people can't even have food.
This is part 2 of the debate, okay? And this is more of, instead of a formal debate, this is more of trying to have an open discussion so all students, regardless of your level of speech, can actually engage in this debate. And don't forget, our topic is, when it cannot do both, the United Nations should prioritize poverty reduction over combating climate change. So what we want to talk about today is, can they do that? Should they do that? And if so, how can we do that?
To Copenhagen, way back there. Okay, so if Copenhagen will work, if the people just come together, if everyone, all the presidents, whatever you want to call them, from all the different nations in the United Nations come together because they are in the United Nations and you want to be in the United Nations, you kind of have to have the same thinking as everyone else in the United Nations. And so if they just come together and they get a certain thing that they want, or like a schedule on how they want, us to change our ways all the countries, then they can see better, the budgets and everything, and then put some aside for the people in poverty and for those third world countries who aren't in the United Nations, and help them out when they are in need, because
There are no countries not in the United Nations.
excuse me,
There are no countries not in the United Nations.
there are countries that are not in the United Nations.
Not every country is a part of the United Nations. You have to be a democracy to be part of the United Nations. Alright, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say that by helping the environment, that would lead to helping those who are impoverished, because it would allow them, if they had the ability to, they had a better environment and the ability to then grow their crops and stuff, they wouldn't be in poverty.
How do you plan on doing that? You still haven't said.
Well, how are you planning on biting into saving all of these thousands of people that are dying? I mean, it's a ton of people, and if everybody's not on board with it, then it's going to be pretty much impossible to save the entire
But by
population.
one step at a time.
By having each country given 1% of their budget and being able to have adequate health care for these people,
Well, how do you
the
plan on
people in
getting
the
each
poor,
country to?
That's what I'm saying.
by enacting it through the UN and having it for each country to have the 1%, it would help people in poverty that cannot have adequate health care or sanitation or life needs.
If it works, we can put that aside.
Don't you think that
Instead of using the money and the funds and the time to raise cans that are just maybe going to get denied when they get there, or that'll only help for just a certain amount of time, instead of taking that time, why wouldn't we put that towards fixing their environment, cleaning the things, taking
don't know how to
clean
the health
of these people aren't going to be immediately solved, but they'll be, okay, let's say I'm sitting here and I haven't eaten in a week, and I eat one meal, and then, okay, I've had one meal, so I'm good for one day, and then for the next week, I don't have anything to eat, so it would be better